Lake Ontario is miraculous to me. It's so big, it's drinking water for over 9 million people, and if we're not protecting that, what's the future look like? Today we're doing a litter cleanup as part of our Love Your Lake campaign that we run each year. It's 100 litter cleanups along the shores of Lake Ontario. We have around 500 volunteers join us, and we pick up between 80,000 and 100,000 pieces of litter. I think what it comes down to is that we're producing too much waste as a society. So even if something goes in the garbage can, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to the right place. I think on an individual basis, we have to be conscious of that, but also on a government level, and especially with like all the industries and manufacturing that's going on, I think it is a responsibility of the producers as well. It's one of those things where we have to kind of meet in the middle, and we have to do our part as individuals, but we have to be able to be given the options to purchase things that are sustainable and don't have excess packaging.
My first cleanup was actually in my childhood neighborhood in Toronto. Rochelle came down for a visit and we did a cleanup at Woodbine Park. And just, taking the time to actually get in the shrubs and trees and stuff, and trying to show off a little bit, obviously, but like getting, on my stomach and crawling around out of the trees and getting, Tim Hortons and McDonald's and all this garbage that, I could have been using myself at any point in my life. That was kind of, I guess, the first moment where you're like, should I be using all this stuff all the time? And, it doesn't just go away when you're done using it personally. I know a lot of times Woodbine Beach was closed for E. coli, and now being with a Greener Future for a while, I understand the reasons behind it. Not just, my parents saying, no, we can't swim today. It's happening here in Lake Ontario. Like, this is our lake, this is the water we drink, this is the beaches we come to, this is where a lot of us grew up. So I just hope that it hits home that this is a problem and we need to fix it, and the root of that problem is just not consuming so much and being smarter about our choices.
A huge thing for a Greener Future is our data collection, and so we're not just picking up litter, because reality is that there's litter washing up daily or hourly. Like, even though we clean up a beach one day, the next day it could be completely covered in plastic. Litter cleanups are an amazing way to bring the community out, to get the community together, to get people into nature in general, and for them to see the problem, but it's not the solution. When people come out to litter cleanups in their communities, I want them to feel inspired to do something on their own, because it's one thing to hear about it and it's one thing to read about it, but when you see it and you see it in your own home, essentially, I think then it just clicks for people and they realize that that's not the end of our responsibility.